There's a boy living in 1999 and a girl living in 2022. Despite being separated by more than 2 decades, they communicate through an old radio. When something this impossible happens, the natural order of time is broken. The lives of everyone connected begin to shift in ways nobody could have predicted. This is not just a science fiction story. It carries the warmth of romance, the weight of heartbreak, and a twist that will leave you thinking long after it ends. Our story begins with a college student named Kim riding his bicycle to university. The year is 1999, and college is reopening after the holidays. Kim is a mechanical engineering student, and on his way in, his friend shares exciting news. 17 girls are joining the mechanical department this year, and one is the top scorer. She has registered but not confirmed admission. Kim's friend suggests he call her, convince her to join mechanical, and use her reputation to help their department dominate. Kim gets her number and leaves her a voicemail. He introduces himself as the class leader, praises the department, and invites her to a fresher party that same evening. He tells her he will personally wait for her in the college auditorium and take her to the party. What Kim does not mention is that his real motivation has little to do with academics. He simply wants to reach her before any of his friends do. The girl calls back in the afternoon and asks how she will recognize him. Kim tells her the color of his outfit, and just like that, the meeting is arranged. She walks into the auditorium, and the moment Kim sees her, he falls in love. Her name is Hansel. She barely says hello before asking Kim for a college tour and help her join a few clubs. Kim agrees without hesitation. He shows her every corner of the campus, and walking beside her feels like the best thing. Eventually, they reach a radio room. Hansel's eyes light up. She loves radio, and immediately asks if they can go inside and operate it. Kim tries the door but gets a small electric shock from the lock. He tells her there seems to be a problem, and they should come back another day. Hansel then asks if anyone in the college knows how to operate a radio. Now Kim is in a dilemma. His friend Sean actually owns a radio and knows how to use it. But if Kim tells Hansel about Sean, Hansel might get closer to Sean instead of him. So he changes the subject and says that radios are outdated now. Phones and newer devices have replaced them. What would she even do with one? Hansel smiles and says she will definitely find someone to teach her. It gets dark during this conversation, and the two join the fresher party with their friends. At the party, because Hansel is the top scorer, she draws a lot of attention. A senior student gets drunk and starts harassing her. Without a second of hesitation, Hansel slaps him so hard that the entire room falls silent. The senior is humiliated and seething with rage. The whole party is stunned, wondering who this girl is and where she came from. After the party, Kim walks Hansel back to her hostel. He tells her today was one of the best days of his life. He feels like they've known each other a long time, asking if she'd like to have lunch tomorrow. Kim's happiness is beyond words. He's ecstatic that she said yes. That night, he rushes to Sean, asking to borrow his radio. He wants to impress Hansel. Sean agrees without fuss, handing over an old, vintage radio to Kim. Back in his room, Kim confides in his pet tortoise, telling it everything about Hansel. He shares his excitement and how much he already likes her. A touching detail about Kim. Suddenly, a faint voice comes through the radio. Kim doesn't notice it at first. The next day, Kim meets Hansel for a lunch. He's distracted by her beauty. When she asks about his life, Kim blurts out, "I want to kiss you right now." Hansel is furious and walks away. Kim is left devastated. He returns to his room, telling his tortoise his love story ended before it began. That evening, He finally pays attention to the radio signal. A girl's voice speaks. She cheerfully says she thought the old radio was broken. But it's working. She asks his name and where he's from. Kim answers, a second-year mechanical student. The girl, Moan, is stunned. She studies at the same university, electronics and communication. She has an assignment to contact a stranger via radio and asks Kim for help. Kim agrees, asking for the radio's operating manual in return. Moan agrees. They plan to meet the next day at noon in front of the college building. Kim waits and waits. Lunch break comes and goes. Moan doesn't arrive. By 2 in the afternoon, Kim walks away, convinced she played a prank on him. But here's the secret. In the very next scene, Moan is at the same spot. It's not sunny. It's pouring rain. That's the moment we understand. Kim is living in 1999. Moan in 2022, separated by 23 years. They were communicating across timelines without knowing it. Moan's close friend Yongji finds her waiting in the rain. They go to a restaurant. We learn Moan has been in love with Yongji for a long time, but fears ruining their friendship. Yongji, meanwhile, seems to only see her as a friend. When Kim and Moan reconnect through the radio, both of them are frustrated. Kim says he waited 2 hours in the sun and nearly burned alive. Moan says she waited 2 hours in heavy rain and is still soaking wet. Kim does not believe her. She holds the mic out toward the window so he can hear the sound of the rain. Kim still insists she must be washing dishes and the sound is just water from the kitchen. Then lightning strikes on her end and the signal cuts off. Kim sits in confusion, staring at his dry, sunny surroundings, unable to understand how it was raining somewhere else. When they reconnect again, they start putting the pieces together. Kim mentions it is 1999. Moan tells him it is 2022. Neither believes the other at first. Kim comes up with a way to confirm it. He asks Moan if the old telephone booth near the college buildings still exists. She says yes, but nobody uses it anymore. Kim says he will go write something inside it right now, and she should go check if she can see it. Kim writes a message in the booth in 1999. Moan goes to check in 2022, and the message is there, carved into the wall, aged and faded with time. They are both stunned. It is real. They are talking across to different decades, excited and overwhelmed. Moan tells Yongji about all of this, but he shrugs it off as nothing special. Meanwhile, in 1999, Kim has already made up with Hansol after his embarrassing outburst, and the two are on speaking terms again. In 2022, Moan starts advising Kim on how to win Hansol over properly. She tells him to take better care of his appearance, pay attention to what Hansol actually likes and dislikes, speak gently, and be genuinely present. Kim follows every piece of advice, and Hansol is visibly impressed by the change in him. He eventually asks her out on a proper outing. She says yes, and the two spend a wonderful day together. After the outing, Kim is thrilled and tells Moan that her tips worked perfectly. He says he is ready to propose now, and asks for her advice again. Moan tells him that Hansol clearly likes him, so he should not overthink it and just go ahead. Kim proposes, his heart pounding, and Hansol says yes. He feels like he is floating. He calls Moan immediately to share the news, and she is genuinely happy for him. Then Kim asks Moan about Yongji. She admits she still has not told him how she feels because she is terrified of losing the friendship. Kim laughs and tells her that she is a love expert for everyone else, but cannot apply the same advice to her own life. He promises to help her figure out what to say. Then, one evening, their conversation takes a turn that changes everything. Moan mentions that her father also studied at the same university around that time. Kim asks for his name. Moan says his name is Sean. Kim goes quiet. Then Moan says her mother also studied there, in the mechanical department, and the two were classmates. Their love grew from there and they eventually married. Kim asks Moan her mother's name. Moan says her mother's name is Hansel. Kim's world collapses. The girl he loves, the girl he is currently in a relationship with in 1999, is Moan's mother, which means Hansel is meant to end up with Sean, not with him. He is so overwhelmed that he breaks the radio mic and the signal cuts off on Moan's end. The line suddenly goes dead and she does not understand why. The camera then moves to Moan's room where we see a framed family photograph. In it are Sean, Hansel, Moan as a child, and pieces of the very same radio, and in the corner of the room, inside a large tank, there is a tortoise, the same tortoise Kim used to confide in. Now fully grown and living in the future. The next morning, Kim arrives at college and sees Hansel and Sean talking together, laughing and comfortable with each other. He had never paid attention to how close they were before. Rage and heartbreak hit him at the same time. He pulls Sean aside and demands to know if Sean and Moan are playing some kind of prank on him. Sean has no idea who Moan is or what Kim is talking about. That evening, Kim comes home and tries to contact Moan through the radio to talk, to say something, to not feel so alone with all of this. But Moan is not home, so he looks for his tortoise instead, only to find it missing. He follows small footprints down the road and into the rain. And there, standing under an umbrella with his tortoise cradled in her hands, is Hansel. And standing beside her, smiling and sharing the umbrella, is Sean. That image breaks Kim completely. He watches the two of them together, so natural, so effortless, and he understands that what he always feared was never about jealousy. It was about fate. He is not supposed to be in this story. He was never the ending. He quietly leaves his tortoise with Hansel and walks away. He does not fight it. He does not ask questions. He just lets go. What Kim did not know in that painful moment was that Hansel and Sean were only friends that night. There was no romance between them yet. It was just two classmates sharing an umbrella in the rain. But Kim had already made up his mind, and he left the city without a word. Only years later did something slowly grow between Sean and Hansel, and eventually they got married and had Moan in 2022. Moan tries repeatedly to reach Kim through the radio, but the connection is gone. She puts together her assignment based on everything she had discussed with Kim across all those conversations and presents it in class. It becomes the best submission of the batch. Everyone is impressed, but Moan does not know where Kim is or whether he is even still alive. Then Yongji comes running to her with a book in his hand. He says that what she presented in class, he has read the exact same ideas in this book, and the author is Kim. Kim has written several books and now runs his own bookstore. Moan goes to the bookstore. Kim is there, signing copies for his readers. She gets in line, holds out the book, and when he asks for her name, she says Moan. Kim looks up slowly. He stares at her for a moment and says, "It has been so many years since we last spoke." For Kim, it truly has been decades. He spoke to her in 1999 as a heartbroken young man. Now it is 2022 and he is standing here, older, quieter, carrying a life's worth of memories from Owen. The last conversation was just a few days ago. The gap in time is visible on his face. He asks about the tortoise. She tells him it is doing well. He signs the book and hands it back. Moan cannot bring herself to say anything more. The guilt sits heavily on her. She feels that because she told Kim the truth about her parents, she unknowingly broke his love story apart. Inside the book, Kim has written a note for her. It says, "Always listen to your heart. What happens is fate. You are not responsible for it, and neither is anyone else. Let go of this weight. And when you decide to do something, do it quickly, before it is too late." He was talking about Yongji. He was telling her not to make the same mistake he made. Do not let fear and hesitation cost you the person you love. Moon reads those words and finally tells Yongji the truth. She tells him she has loved him for a long time. She was always too afraid to say it. Yongji looks at her and says that he felt the same way, but because she never said anything, he held himself back too. He tells her he is grateful she spoke first, because otherwise he would have lost her, without ever knowing he had a chance. And now, here is the last detail, the one that ties everything together. When Kim first called Moon in 1999 and they agreed to meet outside the college building, Moon showed up in 2022 while Kim was waiting in 1999. Neither could see the other, but Kim, now older and living in 2022, was there at that same time. He saw a young girl, standing alone in the pouring rain. He recognized her. He walked over to Yongji and handed him an umbrella. He told him to go give it to that girl. She is getting drenched. He did not go himself. He made sure Yongji went instead, because he had already seen what was written, and all he wanted now was for Moon's story to end the way his never could.